Okay guys, usually I say quick update and it's a long video, so I'm just gonna go through this as fast as I can. So I told you guys, and I didn't just say go short. The last video I put up was, what, 2 days ago. I said I gave you a 100% guaranteed short opportunity for Bitcoin. Hope you played it. And this is the actual video. I'll put a link up to now if you want to check it out. A lot more downside. Just want to show how these things work. I took the time to explain to you why I was 100% confident that when we cross this ring, we have a lot more downside. Why I said in this video, in the title, or the thumbnail, 100% guaranteed short. If you took it, well, you should have done very well. We dropped a total of, once we came up and we tapped this resistance, we have dropped a total of what, 11.5%. That's not much of a drop if you're playing spot, but if you're playing leverage, you're doing really well. I took profit on my short. I made about, when I closed, I made a little over 7,000 on that short. It wasn't a lot, but hey, money's money. And then I decided to go long, and you can see I went long here. And I said I used low margin because I said it could dip back below, because that's what the fractal showed. We dipped and then we dipped below her. So I'm currently in a long. Let me show you here, and I'm going to give you all your key levels. We're going to cover gold, and I'm going to go through this fast, guys. This is BitUnix. It's a great platform. It's no KYC, no VPN. If you want to sign up, I'll put a link up to it now. It supports me. You can get lower fees. All the links will be pinned in the first comment description. So I'm in a long currently. Now, I entered my long back, well, it was a little higher. I added to my long. I'm using cross, by the way. Look up the difference between cross and isolated. So right now I have my I have a trigger short down here at 56,300. More than likely, I'll set it closer to this point, so it'll trigger my short, so I'll be in a hedge. So if price drops down to a support level, I'll close my short and ride my long. And maybe if we get below this point, you know, it really depends. Right now, I want to be long because the fractal shows that we potentially have some upside. Let me show why this is the case. So we did push up, we hit it, and we dropped. Now, I explained to you in the last video. Go back and watch it. I explained to you why it was a guaranteed, again, 100% guarantee that when we cross, we will drop. So if you played it, you made money, fantastic. Now the question is, should you go long or stay short? Well, I can tell you right now, if we continue down, your first closest support level to pay attention to is around 54,900. Let's just call it 55,000 if we continue down. This daily candle, let's just call it 55,000. Will that happen? I don't know. But that is a target to watch. And then, you know, we have another level here. This is just another support level with further confluence around 53,000. Remember, 53,000 to 54,000 is what I'm calling the floor. If that breaks, then we're breaking below a huge head and shoulders covered in the last video. I'm not going to cover it again. So these are levels that you're looking at now. If you get access to my charts on my website, this is called the D1 Simple Chart. It has the orange ring, and there's another orange ring further out, but I don't have time to go through that. Just want to let you know, we came up on the ring, we knew it would drop, price drop. Now the question is it time to go long? So we're going to cover that. And if you do want to get access to these live charts, guys, like I said, this is called D1 Simple Chart. So if you're on my website, you know, you would just go to Access Charts, you click on Bitcoin, and then you see right here it says D1 Simple. You would load that chart up. If you do want to sign up, guys, the website is opticalercrypto.com. The link's been in the first comment description. I'll put a link up to it now. You can pay USDT for tutorial stocks and Bitcoin crypto charts. But you can email me through the website to get a Discord invite link, and can't pay with USDT, but email me through the website and I'll get you set up. Okay, so we dropped. Now here's the part that is getting a little iffy. So you notice that, well, this fractal here, you notice we dropped, and then we dropped a little bit lower. Okay, so that played out, but it was a little bit more extreme. We dropped all the way down to 58,000, and then we pushed back up. So pay attention to the next daily candle. Yes, we could drop more. We could push up. I'm waiting to see if we get a daily open above 59,222. If that happens, then, as I've been saying for a while, I think price will slowly chop. We'll probably even come back down and test not our lowest point, but pretty close to it. And then we'll push up and get topped out around, as I said, around 66,000, and then we'll get that next plunge that will either be the final plunge, sending us to the 300-week moving average around 54,000, maybe 53,500, and that's the bottom. If not, like I said, that huge head and shoulders will play out, and we're headed down to maybe 27,000, 20,000. No, people don't hear that, but when I show you Nvidia, it makes more sense. Okay, so like I said, I'm in a long, I'm in profit. I'm going to keep an eye on it as long as it holds, and I'll give you your key resistance level. Right now you can see on my chart in bit units is 60,000, 60,100. Now I'm going to show you confluence across other charts. Just listen to what I'm saying. Right now I am long, and I am long because of this fractal. I believe this fractal, we just dropped more than we were supposed to, just like here. You see the fractal came down to this point, but we dropped all the way to 59,188. So I think it's more likely we're just going to chop and go sideways and push up. And that is what I think will happen. If we did get one major drop, if we just continue to just drop straight down, well, the next point to go long or take profit on your short would be around 54,300. A lot of confluence. We got a trend line price has been respecting. We have the bottom, the neckline for that head and shoulders, and we have 300-week moving average, which keep in mind, we have dropped below the 300-week moving average before, but typically that shows the bottom. If we get below that as resistance, then we're in deep trouble. All right. This here. So this is just a resistance level. I made a post in Discord about this. This is your next level to pay attention to, and this is on the 1 hour. Pay attention to see if we get above 60,100. If we do, and that holds as support, so that's the level to watch. So you might want to be short from that point if you don't believe we're going to go higher. But if we get above 60,100, okay, well, your next resistance on this chart is up around 63,800. Not saying we're going that high, but the point is, I mean, over time we can go that high. Up here is 67,000. But I'm just showing you, you can see how price interacts with this line. This is, I talk about stuff like this, and this is when the video gets longer. I can't help myself. But notice it became support and support, 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 right? Pushed above it, and we're not really messing with it. It became resistance, resistance. It became support and resistance. Well, we know that when we interact with this again, this will be resistant. So your first line right now to pay attention to is around 60,100. If we get above that, hold a support on the hourly, we'll get bullish up to 63,800. And remember what I said, this is going to chop and go sideways and push up until we get to that 66,000 point, then that final flush. And as I've been saying, I have so much confluence across so many charts. We know that around 55,000. Well, actually, this would be a point to catch a bounce. If we continue down, we're going to break 55,000 because 54,000 to 53,500 is what I'm considering and I'm actually doing quotes when I say this, the floor. Because if we go below that, we're going to crash. But anyways, resistance level to pay attention to now is 60,100. Okay, so this is the C1 fund chart. So the reason I'm in my long and the reason I have, you notice I have this trigger short. Now, obviously, if we drop, I'm going to lose a substantial amount of money. I might move this up. Hell, I could even enter a hedge now, so I'm not making or losing anything. Normally you set a stop loss just below, and if it comes down, it stops you out. You don't lose that much money. I like to do long hedging. So if we come down below this point, I might pull this up, and as soon as it triggers, I will be in a long and a short, both at 3,000 margin at 50x. And then if we come down to support, well, I will close my short and then ride my long. Or if we push up, I will close my long and ride my short. But for now, I think we'll follow that fractal. I think this is a flush to take out longs. And I just want to show you something real quick. I know there's a lot on this chart, but this looks like a head and shoulders to me. Take note that this is kind of the neckline right here. Control Z, by the way, is undo. And you notice left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And if you take that and you duplicate it, and you bring it down, where we broke is about where we bottomed. So that's kind of why I decided to add to my long. And I'm only up $344. But we still got to get above 60,100 to get bullish. Right now we're just teetering on that point. So these are just levels in confluence. Right here you see 60,896. This is going to be a lot of resistance. I talked about in the last video. Right here around 61,600. But I do think if we come down 57,000, we'll probably be able to catch a bounce. If price pushes down more. But these are key resistance levels to pay attention to. But again, I'm basing this on that fractal. And again, this is further confluence why 57,000 is an ideal point to long. And that is why, again, why I have my my trigger down around 56,300, because I want it below that point, right? 57,000. That's a support level. We've been respecting this line going way back. We know that line will be respected again. And if we go to the chart we were just on, you can see 57,400. We're above that point. So that's why I got these little dotted lines on my triggers. We'll send an alert to my phone. So as long as we're above 57,430, I don't see any reason why we couldn't, or it's possible we could push back up. So I'm going to hold that long. And then look, 63,800, that's in confluence with, well, that's 63,000 right here, 63,800. All these lines are in confluence, and following the fractal shows that we could eventually push up. But pay attention to the next daily open. See if the next daily open is above 59,350 or below. If it's above, that's more bullish. If it's below, then it's getting a little iffy here. Let me go to the next one. So again, 57,400, that's what I'm watching. As long as we stay above that, I'm going to hold my long. And as I said, you see confluence here, 60,100, that's what we're watching. We get above that hold of support, then we're looking at coming up and testing some resistance levels above. I'm just curious what this is up here, that's 68,000. But I do think if we push up, and again, this is the ring you should have shorted when we make contact. But I do think we're going to come up slowly and hit 66,000 and then come down to support. That doesn't mean we could break it and just come straight down. That is a possibility. And if that happens, I'll just have to close my long and then go short, because it doesn't always play out exactly. That's why rings are fantastic, because it can tell you exactly when that pivot point happens, and based on previous rings you can know what happens. And that's why that last two videos were so damn long. Now let's cover let's see. So you have your levels. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. The Dow. Now this is what's interesting. Remember I talked about this line right here? This right here, I said as long as we're below it, it's resistance, and that's potentially bearish. Even if we move sideways and up, as long as we're below it, that is bearish. Notice we wicked above it and came right back down. So we're struggling to get above this. If we do hold support above 52,347 for the Dow, guys, that will be bullish. But right now we are struggling. It's like it pushed up, came back down. And as I said before, guys, that line has been respected going back to 1970. All the way back here, that's 1970. It was support back at 637. That is insane. But that same line, again, I'm not going to go through each date, but you can see how well that line's been respected. And that is currently where we are teetering to get above or get rejected. Now that alone, I'm just saying, that's one hell of a line to pay attention to for the Dow. If we cannot get above that and markets start dropping, then that makes total sense why it would, price would just kind of push up, move sideways, and then everything's topped, and then we get that drop. And if it gets really bad and the markets continue down, we break that neckline, and then that target of 27,000, maybe lower, that's when that comes into play. Nvidia, this is getting interesting, guys. I mentioned this in the last video. We are now testing right here. This is the support level. This is this rising wedge I was talking about for Nvidia, and I was talking about the bubble. And you saw how well these rings work. Again, 100% guaranteed short, right? I wasn't saying maybe short, go short if you want to. I was saying, look, it's 100% guaranteed on this short because of previous rings. Well, that is the same thing with this Nvidia chart. We know that when we cross this ring, whenever we cross it, we're going to get a major drop just like back here. But we are in a rising wedge. It's a bearish pattern, right? This is a rising wedge. We are now at support. Now, do we break it? Do we bounce? I don't know. But if we do break it, we'll probably come back up and test it. Either way, this is a bearish pattern. We know the top of the pattern is around 246. As I said, this yellow ring will be resistance. So whether we come up and hit it and get rejected and break it, or if we break sooner and then we come back up and test it, we know this is going to be resistance, and we know for a fact every time we cross a red ring we get a drop. And if Nvidia drops, and that means most of the tech stocks are going to drop, which is going to be very bearish for the markets, because basically AI and these tech stocks are holding up the entire all of the indices, pretty much the whole stock market. So once they go bust, everything drops, and Bitcoin, it does follow the markets, guys. That's how it works. When markets are dropping and people have a loss, they sell their gold and they sell their Bitcoin to cover the loss. That's just how it is. It's how it happened during COVID. Gold. I told you previously, go back and look where I mentioned update on gold. I showed it in the thumbnail. said, look, 4,366 was your point to go short. All right, 4,300. And I said, look, your next point to potentially. I said, look, a point you might want to long, because remember we got a bounce here at 40,016 because of this line right here. If you follow it up, you see we caught a bounce there. That was our resistance. But I said your strongest support level was the one below, and you can see why, because we pushed above it, but we got resistance here and here, and price interacted with it here. So I said if we drop, your strongest support level would be right around, we didn't quite make it to it, it's 3,964, but your support level is around 3,900. But now we're at resistance. So if you're playing gold, this might be a point to chance to short. You can see the RSI, this is the daily, is angling down. MACD, it looks like it's angling down. It's a little low. But all you gotta do is just pay attention. Next daily open, if when I'm gonna make this gray because that's the level we're watching. So if you see gold above 4,037 hold support, well, your next resistance level to potentially short or long to is going to be up here around 4,134, and I guess your strongest resistance level now is up around 4,400. But like I said, if gold breaks 3,932, your next strongest support level is going to be all the way down here around 3,666. And if that breaks, well, again, you can just look at each one of these lines. 3,000, price respected this perfectly as a resistance, right? But it looks like your next strongest support level is going to be down around 3,300. And I told you about these lines going in this direction. This is where I called the actual top to gold. I was only off by what maybe 15 bucks. And look how much we've already come down. We dropped a total of 30% with gold. That is insane. But like I said, that is your most key level, this line right here. Whenever you hit that, that's when you get long. Remember what I said, when the markets crash, people sell the gold, people sell their Bitcoin. And that's what I'm saying, things could get really nasty. And Nvidia is on the cusp of something. Now, we did hit that point and we got a small bounce. Hold on. We did get a bounce. I mean, we're pushing up from it, and the Dow is teetering, right at this resistance level. So pay attention. Maybe we get above this briefly. Maybe Nvidia starts pushing up, getting a bounce off of this rising wedge, and we push higher. And that would be bullish for markets, and that would make sense why this fractal would play out. We'll push up, hold support, just kind of chop sideways and go up, and then Nvidia breaks the support, starts coming down, chopping sideways. Then we know, if Nvidia just goes sideways, that's bearish, because if it goes up, fine. If it goes sideways, we break support, and we know if it crosses this ring, we crash. The Dow, if it gets above this point, which it has in the past, once we get back below it as resistance, that's another clue that we're going way the hell down. Your next major support's around 47,400, 44,485. We'll just see what happens. But remember, all the markets move together. So I try to keep this short and sweet. The point is, guys, these rings are money makers, and I wouldn't have said 100% if I didn't really believe that we were going to drop when we crossed it. So I hope you played it. Now the question is, should we go long? And like I said, I just showed you on these charts why 57,000 is the line in the sand. So right here is 57,150. As long as you're above that, I'm going to hold my long. If we get below that, well, it's time to go short. And you can see right here, this is the neckline, guys. This is the neckline of that massive head and shoulders. That if we break it, gets us down to 27,000. That's the projected target if we break that head and shoulders. So that's why 57,000 is currently a key support. This is on, and I need to verify that. Yeah, that is the head and shoulders. You see support, 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 and support. It looks different on different charts. We did get wicks below, but 57,000, 400 looks like a point to stay long from. We know if we get above 60,100, get more bullish. But I do think this fractal will play out, guys. And again, you'll find out next daily candle open is in 8 hours and 8 minutes. So see if we hold above 59,351. We know if we get above 60,100, it's even more bullish. And then it might just be like I said. It'll just be chop and boring. It'll come back down to sweep the low to take people out, and then we'll come back up, probably find support. People get bullish, thinking the bottom's in, and then rug pull. So that's what I'm watching for. But you have your levels to pay attention to, and you know that we are teetering on some very key levels. So something's going to happen soon. We'll see. It's coming to the end of the week, but it's not looking good for Nvidia. And I'm sure you heard about SpaceX, the IPO. Prices just dropped like crazy. People lost a lot of money. So I think crap's about to hit the fan. I'm just letting you know it's coming soon. Guys, if you do want to sign up to BitUnix, all the links are pinned in the first comment description. Remember, no KYC, no VPN. If you want to sign up, I will put a link up to it now. And of course, if you want to sign up, get access to the live charts. When I make a change on the chart, you see the change updated automatically, and I keep you updated in Discord. My last post here, I said the resistance level was 60,137, and as you can see, we got a rejection there. So that's why that's important that we get above 60,100, and 57,000 is your current strongest support. Guys, that's it. Chase Mark, I'm out.